Welcome to Business Chats with Debbie, where we talk big stories from small businesses. I'm your host, Debbie Warburton, and my guest today is Chris Horner from Grimsweepers CIC.
Hello, Debbie. How are you? Thank you for inviting me.
I'm well, thank you. We're lovely weather outside again, as usual.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful, and it's God's country when we're here in Cornwall.
So my first question is, where did the name come from?
Oh, and that's an easy one. So I've been metal detecting for over 20 years, and we went to an event which was in November, and it just so happened to be Halloween. So I went dressed up and went metal detecting as the Grim Reaper. And my brother turned round to us and he said, it's all been a family affair. And that's where it come from. I thought, how can I catch the people's attention in public about what we're doing? Because metal detecting at that time was not that well known.
No.
He said it was one of these hobbies that if you were in it, you were in it. But if you weren't in it, there wasn't much to know about. And I was trying to bring the whole aim of obviously metal detecting, and one of the names, as you said, the Grimsweeper, and the feedback I've had, and that's where it's come from. So yeah, I was dressed as a Grim Reaper and went detecting on a November. I couldn't do it in this sun, but yeah, that's where it comes from. And as you said, the stuff that we find in the ground can be thousands of years old. So as you said, it was quite relative, really.
And it must be really we all live in a stressful world, especially during COVID.
Yeah.
And coming out of COVID, we've got Brexit, we've got the cost of living crisis, we've got the war in Ukraine, which, although, it's not on our doorstep, is impacting our daily lives with other things, energy price rises and the cost of food. So we live in a really stressful world. And I must admit, is it a really is it great for releasing stress?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. And what we do within Grimsweepers is it's not just teaching people how to detect, but it's actually introducing people to the community. So for the past 2 years, people have been very, very lonely, and that's one thing that's come out of COVID. As you said, to get people out into a completely new environment, to get them out into the fresh air, to learn them something new, the metamonic sweeper, the detector, as you said, and it's so much of a stress reliever, as you said, and I've asked hundreds and hundreds of detectors and people that I've taken out, have you thought about anything that's been going on in your life while you've been metal detecting? And the answer's always been, no, Chris.
No, I'm looking for treasure. I want to find treasure.
And that's what people do. And to be honest, treasure's not necessarily what's in the ground. It's the people around you. And as you said, we can surround ourselves with people who bring us, can help enlighten us and empower us to do that. And the more that we do that with people, and you said, we do it from children upwards, anybody who can walk and talk, it's absolutely brilliant. It brings so many health benefits to everybody. And he said it's just spending time with the Grimsweeper. Who wouldn't want to do that?
No, and it's family time, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? We lose so much of family time because of work and other things that from when I was a child, do you know what I mean? We were always out the door. As soon as it got light, we were out the door. We didn't come home until the lights came on.
Yeah.
Kids can't do that anymore. Because of safety and everything else, and I think getting out in the outdoors and spending time with other people and your family doing things that you wouldn't normally do, it's great.
Yeah, and as you said, like I said earlier, the feedback that we've had from the families that we have taken out, it brings them reconnected, it brings them together, brings them into a hobby that they can all do. So from the age of 5, 6, 7, 8 up to 85, up to 90, said if you can walk and talk. Yeah, and this is the thing when I say to people, I'm going, right, we're going for a 12-mile walk, and they go, a 12-mile walk? I go, well, actually, you could find gold on the way, and you never seen them run so fast. And it's one of these, and it brings the community together, because it said you meet everybody from different walks of life, from architects to builders to, nursery workers to absolutely everybody, and we've just got the same common interest, is to go out, have a bit of a wander, enjoy the sunshine, and as you said, if we walk over it and we get lucky, then happy days. It's brilliant. It's really good.
On the other side of that, obviously, you're a big advocate, you're a big helper with the mental health charity, which is Man Down.
Yeah.
Because, out of COVID has come a lot of mental health issues, not only for women and obviously children as well, as men. Because men don't talk about the mental health. And that's been instilled in for generations. Men don't talk about the mental health. And I was just wondering whether or not you'd like to share a little bit of that side of things as well.
So I've been a facilitator for Man Down Cornwall for 2.5 years now, and Man Down Cornwall gives men of Cornwall a place where they can just talk about it without any judgment, without any expectations, and just be us. It's run by volunteers like myself. We're all human. As you said, there is no judgment there, and it gives people of Cornwall, especially men of Cornwall, a safe place to go and do that. I currently work for a company called Pentreath Limited, which helps with their mental health as well. So my life's all changed around. So Grimsweepers, Pentreath, and all the people I work with, especially, you said, within your partnerships and George's Voice and other bits and pieces, we're all there for a common interest. Is basically, as you said, it's in the crux of it is to keep people above ground as much as we can. And you said with that support out there, and as you said, here in Cornwall, as much as a beautiful place, the infrastructure and the stuff is overloaded at the moment. So anything we can do within our small companies, whether it's the Cornwall Channel or, as you said, Grimsweepers, then just to get people out, it just gives them that little bit of thing called hope. And it's what we all come together, and that's what we can deliver.
It's just I think the biggest thing is getting the message out there. There are people there. You can talk to people. You're not alone. There are resources out there. National Health Services is obviously just overloaded
Under so
for
much
mental
pressure,
health. And there are other charities out there. There are people who you can talk to. It's just actually taking that courage to actually reach out. And once our first step is done, it takes a big pressure off.
Without a shadow, one of the hardest things you can actually ever do, but one of the most strongest things you can do is put your hand up and ask for help. As you said, and that's one of the things, and the things that we talk about with the guys in Mandown, and that's the biggest step in their lives that they'll possibly ever have to take. As you said, to drop all the barriers and boundaries and stuff, and as you said, sometimes to spill their whole life story, but within an environment that they feel comfortable doing that.
And safe.
Without a shadow of a doubt, where there's empathy, and as you said, everything's confidential, and as you said, what we talk about within Mandown is confidential within Mandown. And what it's brought over the past 3 years, especially here in Cornwall, is such a needed service, and I'm proud to be part of it.
And I am. Oh, yes, I'm so glad, because you know what I mean. We're coming from a family who, you know what I mean. I've spoken to people about the issues we as a family have had with mental health, and the biggest thing is admitting you've got a problem, and acknowledging you've got a problem, and then saying I need help, and that's the biggest step. And once you've done that step, then it's just like a big relief. And knowing that you're not alone. There's thousands and thousands and maybe millions of people out there who are suffering exactly the same as you are, and you're not alone, and there are people who can help.
Without a shadow of a doubt, as you said, and this is where Cornwall is as far as I'm concerned, is excelling in doing that with the companies, and we're all coming together now. So we work. He said with Pentreath, who I work for, is part of the NHS, as a Partnership Foundation Trust, and it brings so much vital support to the people of Cornwall. And as you said, in everything that I do now throughout Grimsweepers, throughout Pentreath, what I work with your partnerships and stuff, it's all based around Cornwall, and this is why I love being an ambassador for Cornwall. So, for the people that live here day in, day out, week in, week out, when it's not summer, when it's raining, and it's giving them that actual lifeline to go, actually, we are cared about, and we're all just human. And as long as we remember that, as you said, it's one of them where it brings so much joy to people. And to watch somebody actually change from one of the first meetings to, 6 months on, it's amazing. There's no better feeling, as you said, there's a little thing called time that we can't buy, but it can be so important. And this is why I advocate to people and say, look, I only live by 3 rules now. I've got a roof over my head, I've got great people around us, and I'm not starving. Everything else is a bonus, and what we bring to each other and what we can bring. And it's about just putting that step forward and going, I am going to be there as that bit of support. And as you said, with all the great people that I've got around us, with your partnerships at the Cornwall Channel, I've got an amazing accountant from GW and Co, who, has helped me with my business the past 2 years. So it's about that connections, but it's, as you said, it's taking nothing for granted, and it just really helps. It really does.
Well, thank you so much for coming in today and being my guest.
No problem at all.
So if you ever fancy lifting up a metal detector and having a go, then Chris is the man to speak to, because he's absolutely brilliant at it. And if you are struggling with your mental health and you need somebody to speak to, then please reach out. Grab somebody and say, I need some help, because there are people out there who can help you, whether you be man, woman or child. or anybody else in between, just give somebody a shout, because there are people who can help. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.